So in the previous video, I took you through the actual front end of the acquisition engine. However, although agencies think that they might only have one acquisition problem, they actually have two. The front end acquisition and the back end acquisition. The front end acquisition is how you optimize really, cutting through the noise of all the, craziness of Meta by creating Android-friendly angles that speak to not only the ICP, but the sub-segments of the ICP themselves, by creating killer ad copy, killer creative, killer scripts, and killer VSL if you want to use a VSL. And then the back end of the acquisition system is how you actually convert, nurture, and drive those specific people in your ICP to book a call and to purchase your offer. Now, I'm going to go into it's kind of on the back end because it's in GHL, not really the ads, how that starts. So once we've built, obviously, your VSL, your ad angles, your static ads and stuff within that sort of first 7 days or so, we'll create you a branded funnel for either a VSL, a lead opt-in, so not a lead form from Facebook, but a lead opt-in, and then also a self-selling. We will pick one to run with, which will probably be a VSL funnel or a lead opt-in, and I'll show you what that looks like. So you'll see here, this is a Ryan's funnel from Go High Level University. This is a VSL funnel, where we obviously, as I said, in the acquisition engine on the front end, created you the VSL script and the angle, or there'll be no video here and there'll be an opt-in form, and that opt-in will be going into the back end when they submit. There is then a booking page, which you can't see. This is not the booking page. I skipped the booking page because it's quite boring. It's just a place where a person books, and they go to the thank you page. In the thank you page, we'll give you the script of like what to film. You can also just use, we can use HeyGen to do it as well. And then we'll generate sort of a bunch of objection videos from the ICP that we created on the front end to then film as well. Just like I filmed mine in the thank you page that you might have seen as well. This is to overcome objections and any fears of, committing to your offer, to decrease no-show rate or increase show rate, and increase the likelihood of closing the client on the deal. This is relevant for both agencies and service businesses. Now, the other thing is we retarget them. So when someone books a call or visits my offer, I will retarget people with my longer form content, challenging some of the objections to overcome. Because the reality is when I opt in, or when someone opts in, they're not always going to buy. Doesn't mean they're not the right lead, or sometimes when they book a call and they don't show, wasn't probably because they weren't the right lead either. It was just because they got cold feet. And so the real thing is how you indoctrinate the leads to you want to get in their head, your face is on Meta, they see you every day, you're teaching them every day, you're overcoming their objections and their fears every day, so they're more likely to show, and they're more likely to actually book if they have seen your offer before. And I see this a lot of the times, agencies and business owners don't even retarget the leads they have, which is a massive waste of money. Now, once you've got all this set up, and again, we do this all for you, right, is you will then have leads being opted in. So now let's jump into it, right? So this is now going into the back-end acquisition system. So we created your VSL if you're using one. We created your distinct friendly angles and obviously static angles whilst we're waiting for the video editing. We've created all your funnels. It's all on brand. It's looking absolutely sick. And then we want to nurture your leads through the pipeline, okay? So the way we do it is we actually capture on the opt-in some details about the lead. The reality is that we want to figure out who they are before they opt in. A lot of people come to me like, oh, but I've got really cheap cost per lead. Cheap is just complete vanity, right? You can have loads of leads, but then you're overwhelming your sales team on the back end because their lead quality is shit, or they're waiting on no-shows all the time. We kind of counteract these two, and I'm going to explain how. The first one is capturing third-party data on the front end through your lead form. This does two things. One, it's more friction, so it might increase the CPL, the cost per lead, but it makes it more rich and more invested into what you're doing, so it's going to be more qualified on the front end anyway. But it also allows us to personalize the entire journey thereafter, and I'll show you why. What you'll see is that when they opt in, it's going to find out, one, it's going to send it the conversion API, and I'll go into that in a bit, but it's going to update the custom field, where they came from, what angle they came from, what ad they came from, to figure out what ads are working best. And then it's going to reach out via text, call, and email we do have funnels that are just, automations that are just fixing and removing the AI calling, but this is all AI, right? Now the thing is, and it's important to note here, the AI is personalized in two ways. Firstly, pipeline context, and secondly, through the lead opt-in information. So let's just say you're an agency owner right now selling to HVAC or MedSpa, right? HVAC, okay? One of your sub-segments in the ICP of HVAC might be someone who just doesn't have enough time to use their phone, right? And so when they, the main pain point that they submit on the form is, I don't know, not enough time, not enough time, right? And then the other person is just maybe they have bad retention issues. That's going to be, bad retention or some return rate. The AI will then understand that lead 1 is for, not enough time, and lead 2 is, return rate. And so the personalized messaging of how they dig into the pain point is going to be related to the specific pain, which are obviously very different. Now, the other one is pipeline context. So if this lead comes into the new lead section, then AI is reaching out to that lead for the first time. If that lead then goes and books an appointment and then cancels, and it creates automation to send a text and email, etc., when the AI sends a text, it understands that that same person then cancelled the book call. So it's not going to say, hey, Jerry, looking forward to seeing you, or, like pretending that it's the first message, because it knows the history of conversation they've had. It knows who Jerry is because he's either lead 1 or 2 based on his pain points, and it knows it just cancelled an appointment. So the way it reaches out is completely different. And we do this all through custom values in the AI prompting. So that's a really powerful thing. So it's end to end from add to close deal. It's complete pipeline context, understanding. So whatever part of the pipeline it's in, the AI will understand. And the second one is that it understands the actual person in the data because we capture it on the front end. And as I said, the snapshot allows you to see where where the leads are in the pipeline. It allows you to see what ads are working best, so you can actually we can cycle back into the front end acquisition system and say, hey, like AI, these ads are working well. Let's make more of those angles and less of the bad angles that aren't working well from our data in front of us. Now, what else can we go into, okay? So the other thing we want to go into is the conversion API of the pixel. Now, there's two things that we do for the snapshot. Part one is we do conditional conversion API tracking. So over time, if we see that a specific person that submits in the form is more qualified than another, as in, hey, we see that these people that fill in this form, this type of information, never converts, never shows, never buys, we just cut it out and only allow the most highly qualified data to go into the pixel and be qualified to send it back to the conversion API. So they might say, for people that maybe are above the age of 35 with this specific pain point, send it back to find more of those people in Meta than the people who aren't converting. The point really being is that, the conversion API is super powerful. If you send everything back, even the shit stuff, it's going to find more shit. If you can isolate what's good and then get that, you'll get more good stuff back. And then obviously the other thing is sending the conversion API of people that show up to booked appointments and also ultimately close. So if they close, that goes to the conversion API to also convert them at a much higher rate to get more of those side users back into the pipeline from your front-end acquisition system that we tighten up, which is mentioned in the first video. The other powerful thing that we can have is the long-term nurture. This is known as the forever follow-up, and it's super powerful. The way this works is it pulls a random number between 1 and 4, and we can change this for your so if customers need longer term gaps between accounts. It's very easy for us to do, just let us know. But the way this works is it looks at, again, the context of the user, the pain point of the user, your offer, so on and so forth, and it will roll either to call or drop them a text, email, drop them a text, call, drop them an email. It's random, so it doesn't ever feel like an automation or a robot or a fake. It's completely randomized to create more of a human nature response, a more natural response to get a higher response rate. The reality is that this will not stop unless we tell it to. So if people, for whatever reason, cancel, don't show, or they're not going to when they reach the term nurture and they don't follow up from the short-term nurture, you don't have to write a million email long sequence to nurture them for the next 16 weeks. Because actually what we do in the term nurture is, you see this email here, this one, right? Our email, we actually build you a custom GPT for email. That includes your offer, the pain point of the lead, and all the stuff that is in the conversation. And we generate a subject line and an email body with a CTA to rebook. And the subject line and the email body will never repeat itself because of the way you prompt it. And that will write and send on an ongoing basis to your prospects to make sure it's always like fresh content, so you don't, as I said, have to write 100 million emails. So if I zoom out, the whole point is that you'll actually see, from the point they're a new lead, we nurture them with specific content, and we'll set them an appointment. So if they do respond, the AI will set them. And if they don't respond during this, they go back into the short-term nurture. And then if it finishes the short-term nurture, it goes into the forever follow-up. And then the other thing we add, sorry, the forever follow-up is over here. And the other cool thing we have, which is to improve show rates. Again, we can remove this if you don't want it in, but we actually cancel appointments if they don't reply to a confirmation of the SMS, email, or any form of communication for the booked appointment. So you see here, we send quite a lot of text notifications 1 day before, 5 hours before, 2 hours before, and 10 minutes before. If they don't reply to any of this, we will automatically cancel the appointment, notify you in Slack, and then add it to the cancellation stage. And when it adds to the cancellation stage, we will then create a follow-up to keep them moving. The whole point being is that most of the time, if people aren't going to literally just say, yeah, I'm coming, confirmed, 99% of the time, they're not going to show, and they're not going to convert. The reason we do this is that a lot of sales teams get really frustrated with wasting their time sitting on for a sales call. It's not productive for team efficiency, and you could have booked another lead slot in that appointment. So it's not even the sales call, it's like the likelihood of getting another lead in that booked appointment slot, if you've got good volume, is high. So just kick it out and get a qualified lead in. And so that's how it works. The whole point being is you have the front-end acquisition system that's super optimized to get the right people into this back-end system, and every single step of this back-end system is built to be personalized at a contextual level of where they are in the journey and who they are as an ICP, so that the way the AI talks to them is completely different. This way, there is no need anymore to send random crappy SMS. I see so many agencies right now, hello, question mark, still there, still interested, question mark, and they're having to write crazy amounts of emails that are not even relevant to the ICP. Well, now we've installed AI properly, so it's working perfectly, and the way we do that is capturing who they are on the front end. And that is how much of the acquisition system works. You go in here, we also do notifying users in Slack. So you'll have a Slack channel that shows your leads, when your AI is setting the lead, when a book calls cancelled, whatever it may be. We just give you really good Slack oversight in a channel of yours, just so you know what's going on. You don't have to freak out. And again, as I said, if you need little things changed in the setup, we can change it for you. But the front end and the back end will all kind of be running smoothly within the first 30 days of signing up.